That's a crazy, crazy world to make you hard to make you love it. Do we all, do all.
God, I'm happy if the rhythm is sweet and her to do the crazy cool. God, I'm happy if the rhythm is sweet and her to do the crazy cool.
Well, howdy, and welcome to the weekend, or at least the start of it. It's Friday, and you know that means some college deadlock. I'm Leaf, and I got Cameron Davis hanging out with me today to watch a couple of teams pop off. How you doing?
Doing good. Listen, I had a great session at the climbing gym earlier today. I had some great Panda Express on the way home, and now I'm here to watch more Deadlock. This day could not get any better.
Do you walls or you boulder? Boulder, yes, my man. That's I don't know, it's way more fun, but I'm so bad at it. I blame it on my height, but really it's just my lack of physical finesse.
Listen, I've been doing it for 3 years. I wish I were a lot better. I'm not a 17-year-old kid who can jump up the grades once a week, so it's still a process for me. But
hey, it's fun though.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're doing today. We are not bouldering today. We're watching some Deadlock. And today we've got two squads. You may have seen before. It's a USU and Iowa State. And I believe I heard just off the bat here that USU will be Sapphire. And I believe by the colors, that's it here. And is there any players you recognize? I know in college it's hard. Things flip around. There's a couple names for me, but I didn't know if you saw any off the top.
No, none that jump out at me, but that's one of the interesting things about collegiate esports and Deadlock specifically. Like Deadlock, I mean, I'm not going to go into the whole description of the current state of Deadlock, it being a new game and everyone's playing it, but also it's like an alpha and blah, 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 blah. But what's great about collegiate is that there's going to be someone that jumps out. Like just yesterday, we saw on Penn State who won I want to say a really strong 2-0. There were a couple of tricky moments in their game yesterday, and didn't know these players before, but Tiny Mo really stood out on the side of Penn State as like the star player. So it's always interesting coming into these matchups and as an explorer. Like what are we going to find here? Who is going to pop out and surprise all of us in these games?
A little sidetracked here, but Tiny Mo makes me want to have a Little Mo riding Krill. I feel like we need a skin of a swap of Mo and Krill.
Yeah.
Someone make that, please.
Valve, write that down.
Yeah, but that'll be a legendary unlock. But that's not going to happen right now. Deadlock again. It's going to be ever-changing. I saw a couple. I think I've seen maybe Nightmare. Zeb obviously was a talk. We're not sure if that is a Zeb we're thinking of or if it's a different Zeb.
Right.
Also, there was a Zeb in Smash Bros. So we'll see once we hit... the actual field. What do you call it? A field? Map? New York. The city.
I
streets.
think the official name is the Cursed Apple.
Yeah. Once we hit this, I want to, it's the streets. I'm going to say the streets.
The streets?
Yeah, once we hit the streets. The streets of the Cursed Apple. We'll find out if they are actually those folks here. But I guess getting into this weekend, we've had now a week, Cameron, of the new map. We've had people getting better at it, starting to figure it out. We're getting a lot more concise with the lane duos. You know, we don't have the solo lanes anymore. People figuring out what characters are good at jungling and split pushing. And I guess for your thoughts overall, how are you feeling about this now? It feels like everyone's really starting to fall in line with the new map layout.
Yeah, it actually changed a lot more about the game more than I expected. I was excited to see the change just because in a lot of cases I felt that the solo lanes on the side were a bit more like islandy than I would have liked.
Right.
But with the new 2-2-2 setup, that actually, because the map is the same size, it keeps the distance between the lanes further between, so that can make ganking a bit more difficult. And so despite it being dual lanes, they're honestly even more isolated. And I forget who it was, but someone made the point yesterday, it might have been on air, might not have been, about it's almost like the middle lane is the isolated one because the side lanes can use the teleporters. Yeah, and so, I mean, we were just talking before we went live about how movement is such a powerful thing in this game and really, really important to learn if you want to go to the high levels. So I think there's going to be so much room for this stuff to get figured out even while the game is still being built, but I'm excited to see how this change is going to continue to affect the neutral objectives in between the lanes. But it does mean at the moment the current meta of the 3-lane deadlock is you have to be able to win your lane in a raw 2 versus 2.
Right. Exactly. And on topic of what I'm going to bring up next here, we do have drafts. We'll start getting into that. I was watching Deathy talk about the I guess the ranking, like the meta right now when it comes to the players and how characters and how these heroes are placing in terms of like ranked right now. And he's saying it's not entirely true when you're seeing their win-loss ratios in terms of, like the online competitive matches when it comes to actual, high-level pro level, because, there's some characters that might work in these lobbies without coordination a little bit better than others. So it'll be interesting to see what happens once we get into the draft, what they actually go with. If we're going to see it look, Cameron, like the I guess ranked win-loss ratio meta, or if it's going to look more like what we've seen on some of the fight nights.
There is crossover between there, and one of the biggest crossovers is right now 7 is incredibly overpowered, so I'm not surprised to see Utah State ban that hero outright. Iowa State answering with Sinclair as well. These are both, ever since the change, I don't have stats to back this up, but just in terms of pure observations, really, really high in like the first round ban, first round pick. Now, Bebop being picked first out by Utah, that's a bit of a deviation. There are a lot more what I would consider high priority picks. I'm thinking of Paradox and Holiday, even if they aren't as high priority as they were before the change. But we still have Geist, we still have Wraith, and Bebop is not a bad hero by any stretch. But to be first picked, I think, is a bit unique for Utah State. But Iowa State, there comes the Paradox. That grab is very, very powerful. Mo and Krill, that's a lot of lockdown just within those 2 picks alone.
Yeah, it's funny because Mo and Krill, again, feels like inherently, when we saw this new map, it's like, okay, Mo and Krill. Immediately everyone's like, that guy goes up a couple ranks. I feel like he's, still not that overpowered level. He's still got to make those jumps back and forth, as you said. Making those lane ganks are a little bit harder if he is in that center. He's got a lot of access to a lot of that jungle, but it's going to be harder for him to just go and get those sneaky ganks. Late game, you have a lot more chance for that, so I've appreciated it, especially as a Moan Krill main. But it's good to see him here. And then on the other side, you even see it with Holiday. She's still so strong too.
Yeah, exactly. But even just to sort of round out, hold that thought, Talon as well, another very high priority pick there. I'm waiting to see Lash though. Lash is one of those heroes that I think probably had one of the biggest changes in meta standing, and that's again because of the elevation that's been added in to the lanes with the new map. That slam can be very, very powerful, and if you pair the knock-up with a hero like the Gray Talon, knock him up, get that charge shot in, that is a very, very, very hard blow. But we see Kelvin banned out, we see Guys banned out. Not too surprised to see them here again.
I was going to say either Dynamo or Kelvin ends up probably getting eliminated. I mean, I feel like if you're going to be, someone's going for a Lash, either Dynamo or Kelvin, someone that's going to be able to control that high damage output is going to be super important. Someone that can shut that down. Right. Kelvin obviously being one of them. He can just dome it up. Also throw out some heals afterwards. But that's a character that's important. Now off the board, no one's going to be able to counter that. So I'm curious if Iowa's going for that Lash, but there is a Dynamo answer on the other side that they'd have to worry about.
Yeah, Dynamo actually is a odd pick for me.
You think?
I haven't seen Dynamo really.
He's fallen a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Not that he's bad, but again, we only have so many heroes to pick from. There's no one hero that is just like never gonna see. Mirage also being thrown in, not too much of a surprise. Again, Iowa State, how are they gonna answer with this one though? Well, I'm gonna favor the Lash here.
I think Lash has to be interesting. It's an initiator there. Yeah. I mean a bit of a frontliner. You can get in there. You've got your talent that can hold back a little bit. I mean, even if an Abrams can jump in and Mo's hanging out nearby, you know, you kind of got a lot of CC. You got that lockdown. That could be really frustrating if you're going for those picks. So maybe Iowa's looking for that. And with the Wraith, honestly, it feels like that might be their goal here. I mean, that Wraith is going to be able to jungle so well. You couldn't get the 7, so go with the Wraith. You could go for those splits, those back doors. But also, again, if you have an Abrams or a Mo near that Wraith, there's a real chance you could just go in and insta-delete someone.
There's a lot of 1v1 potential. Not to where I think that Iowa State is going to be struggling when it comes to like 6v6 team fights. But with the Mo and Krill and the Paradox, both of those ultimates to lock someone down even temporarily, Wraith's telekinesis, lock someone down, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities to really bully any stragglers that they find in the jungle or in the lane and whatever. But that's not to say Utah State doesn't have their own answer. They have a Bebop that. The grab, we all know what that does. If you played any MOBA, whether it's Deadlock or anything else, you know how that's going to affect you. Holiday Lasso does the exact same thing as Paradox, more or less. But I do think Utah might have a bit more of global presence, specifically because of the Mirage. So they might be leaning more into the overall macro control. But I do think ultimately these two team comps are pretty even when it comes to what their win conditions.
I genuinely don't think someone outright won this in any specific way. You're definitely right about Utah having that macro maneuverability. I mean, you've got two roamers. Yamato can chase you down. You've got Calico that's just always going to be. If you're in a team fight and you get separated and pulled off, I mean, she can chase you down and just solo you. But on the other side, you are looking at the ability for those picks too, as we mentioned just before, with the Wraith, with the Mo and Krill. But it does feel like it might end up being a little more team oriented when it comes to that. I mean, that Talon, you're probably going to want to be again backlining when it comes to any team fights. Like it feels like where he's going to excel a lot.
Looking at the lane pairings right now, seeing the Calico and the Yamato in the same lane together. I mean, it's, you know, farm is shared. It's most of the denies that can have one individual. Oh, they went straight for a fight. Wraith is trying to post up on the bridge, gets instantly answered back.
Yeah, I was about to say, I have a feeling there's going to be a very large amount of aggression from this middle lane here as they really try to push back this Talon before we can start getting any of that spirit damage out. You know, if you can just shut him down early and get a couple of early picks, that'll be good. And Yamato and Calico are a good duo to do something like that.
Yeah. Great Talon's going in. Not finding an angle. Yamato's actually dropped very low, down to about a quarter HP. Going in on the Great Talon, that is very, very ballsy. Wraith is now grouping up, but the Troopers have all pushed in, so a bit split on focus between the two laners from Utah State, and Wraith is fallen very low as a consequence.
Yeah, maybe they got a little bit more... a little too much gusto, a little bit ahead of themselves on that one. They'll have to just play a little bit slower. And you can do that, as you said, you could just play for those soul steals. Now you don't have to get those last hits. So play back, get a little bit healed up. And the other two lanes feel a little bit even as well. I mean, both teams just doing what they got to do. I think people are used to the map at this point. Bebop Dynamo is going to be a really deadly combo. If you can land those hooks and then just... have Dynamo's C2, yeah. I mean, like, kind of what we're seeing right now is going to be very troublesome, but the Abrams does manage to make it away from that, and I think having Viscous as your backup's really good too, because you can just, once you got that ult out, you can just get cubed up, so Abrams got that support behind him and a lot of damage too. Honestly, these pairings are pretty good overall. I mean, Mo's going to have a lot of trouble, in my opinion, dealing with the Mirage. I mean, you don't want to just be out there. You're going to lose that large health pool pretty quick against these two.
Now, the Paradox and Mo and Crow combo, though, once they get their ults unlocked, that's going to be very, very deadly. So that's something that lane needs to be aware of and just watch out and know the timings on when they're going to hit that level unlocked. But yeah, these pairings, I mean, it's really, I know it's not accurate because this game is not like other Oh, Wraith very low. Hold that thought.
Yeah, goodbye.
Wraith is dead. Wraith is so low that they're zero.
Yeah. Now that was, I think, an inevitability at that point. It's you're too close to the Guardian as well, trying to get a little bit aggressive, and that might come back to bite them later. That hubris, Abrams, getting a little hubris of his own here, but Dynamo, I think, is feeling a a little bit hurt too.
Good
You got to
grab.
stay back there at Bebop. Just trying to buy his teammate a little bit of time. He's going to chase down the Viscous too. Maybe get a punch in
That's
there.
bait.
but
The Abrams is there, and the Bebop is gonna get punished. Talk about hubris. Viscous able to stay alive. The cube is such a powerful ability. Dynamo is looking to go for more, but they're low enough.
Yeah, that's, again, not what you want to be doing at this point early in the game. You don't want to be getting that that aggressive on your lanes.
Right.
If you're low, play it back. I mean, you also got healing as well. I mean, you just play it slow. I mean, that Dynamo can just wait it out. You got a good amount of damage. You've got CC just to keep them at bay if they do try to jump on that Guardian. You got the knock-up. You know, you've got those options here.
Yeah, and it's still an early game, but we have a 3K solo differential between Iowa State and Utah State. Even though Utah's mid lane is winning, it is their one winning lane, that is still quite a wide gap that is already starting to develop. Once Guardians start falling, that's when we'll see the real game state, really see who actually has control, who is in the driver's seat. But at the moment, it is leaning quite heavily towards Iowa.
Yeah, I think the thing with especially now with this map, it's definitely feeling like there's a lot more comeback potential. I mean, with how pushed this up is too, there's a good chance that they get in there soon and grab that Guardian. But once they start farming, once these camps come online, you'll see these two in the middle start to pull ahead.
Oh, Spirit Owl out in the open.
Oh, Yamato.
And now, yeah.
You are done. Yeah, you're not going to get away from that one. The Wraith trying to come in and finish it off. Talon, can we at least get a clean up? Calico's looking for it. Not this early.
Both HP bars are low, so I respect the Calico for trying to look for it, but things can easily change. Yeah. There is the Return to Shadows available for the Calico to use, so could be looking, again, to try and get an opportunity as 1 versus 2, and the Dynamo ultimate answered by the Cube.
Yeah, I love it right away, and I mean, that's the great thing about that combo, and they're diving into Abrams, just getting frisky in there, getting involved, but he's got split off there from Viscous, but with the ball out, this is looking not too good for Utah. Both of them shut down. They were too far away from their Guardian, and as a result, they lose their lives, and they're going to lose the objective as well.
Yeah, listen, Viscous, I'm a Viscous main, so I am going to be biased towards that hero, but when it's a Bebop, Viscous is one of the best things to pick. Just because if someone gets grabbed, you cube them, they don't die. And with the the grab into the Singularity combination that the Bebop Dynamo are looking for in that lane, the cube is even more powerful.
Ooh, Yamato looking for that finish there. I wonder, I thought maybe she wanted to chase that one down. I mean, if you can get that talent out, you really got to start at some point making this 10K, 11K soul difference back. I mean, camps are up, so they're going to want to start spreading out there. Now with that Guardian down, maybe you'll see Bebop and Dynamo trying to make their way over there, but they're going to start feeling pressure still from the other two in their lane, and Wraith is getting pushed on right now. Calico trying to get in there. It's Yamato chasing it down. Wraith saved by the Guardian, but Yamato chases it up. And she's in a rough spot, though. We'll see if she can get out of there, and I think they make it away without a trade.
Yeah, Shadow Transformation into a Flying Strike. The Wraith tried to teleport away, but not going to be the case. Return to Shadows coming out from the Calico. Also trying to run away. There were a couple of openings that look good for Utah State. They're just not able to finish them. And Seneca with another kill. Guided Owl stacking up those excess buffs.
Now, great call from the Owl, too. You saw that opportunity for a kill there, and Yamato is not going to be able to walk away from that one alive. Very, very problematic now, because we were looking with the strength of that lane being pushed up the Guardian. In my opinion, I felt like the hopes of Utah kind of relied on, that Calico and Yamato being able to win that lane and then go start farming to start supporting the other lanes.
Yeah. I mean, Yamato is one of the strongest late game carries, but I don't think Utah State want to wait till the late game for them to have an advantage. And so Lungboy being able to really take this game by the reins, I think would have been really, really good for them to see. But as you say, it's not. There's some good signs, some good kills, but another one. Once again, Mirage is going down. I think might have missed the teleport, but Moron Krill is. Whoa! Hold. A bit of an overcommitment, and I totally understand that Mirage is looking tasty. That is one more left click, one more auto attack, but unfortunately, Monkrill does go down with the overextension.
Here's the thing. You see yourself with a 2K lead on that, even a little bit over that, and you say, okay, there's a juicy kill right in front of me. I can extend this a little bit further. But you forget about how hard it is to really have a convincing bit of control on those outside walkers now. I mean, that corridor is so tight. You have nowhere really to hide. The second you step up that ramp, you're really just committing to fight or damaging walkers. So, yeah, a bit of an overcommit, as you said. I get where the mentality came from.
Yeah.
I've overcommitted like that a million times.
Oh, we all have. It's just something that Iowa State is going to need to keep it in check if they don't want to throw this game. One overcommittal in the early game, fine. A couple into the mid game, sure, fine. But we've seen games almost get thrown because of overcommittals like that the later into the game. So just keep an eye on it and make sure that you don't do it too much. It's good to push your limits, if anything, as an intimidation tactic against your opponents. But it's a fine line to be able to ride.
Now, this is going to be a bit of a steamroll situation, I think, because at this point, well over 10K soul lead, you already have Mo and Wraith both starting to steal camps on the side of Utah. And this is going to be something that Utah would really have needed if they could get control of these lanes. They really needed that extra helping hand of those camps. And with both of them stealing, this might start to landslide.
That's the problem, because it's like, oh, just send one member of each lane out to get those camps, but then that's going to set their opponent into a potential 2v1 dive, which is not good. Bebop is trying to go for a 1v2
Oh,
a bit. Oh, no. Where was the follow-up? Bebop, where was your follow-up? What was the plan?
I genuinely don't know what the game. You saw him sitting up there for quite some time, trying to just maybe engage in a fight. Yamato's going to be there, but way too late, trying to just get the garbage time goals. But yeah, that's not going to happen here for Yamato. They're too far behind at this point, and any of that cleanup is well out of the question. You really can't be joining those fights late.
Thank you very much. I'll take that.
And that as well. And there finally goes down that mid guardian. It was held on for so long despite the soul difference, but you knew inevitably, especially with that race starting to level up, that it was going to go down.
This soul differential is getting ridiculous. It's 20k 11 minutes in.
Now, I'll be honest, at my rank, I've actually come back from this. The problem is this isn't my rank. And the people in the face on the other side are probably not going to let this slip. And
the other question is, how many times did you fail to come back from this?
Well, we don't include that in the information. That's not data that's recorded, okay? We have 100% come back.
Right. Well, hey, listen, Utah State, for all the struggles that we're identifying, that we're witnessing, they are getting kills. Like, Holiday got that, Xylon on the Holiday got that trade kill. We saw a couple from him out.
They need this earn,
like, they're getting into it, but yeah.
And they just didn't even try for it. Like, at this point, sorry to interrupt, it's just I saw that going, they had to try and contest that. I mean, there were only two over there, and they just didn't even bother for it. I mean, they just gave away the earn to Iowa, who already has an extensive lead. Like, at this point, there is no comeback.
I mean, if anyone was here last night, there was a lead like this that got thrown, but almost thrown, about 25 minutes in. So it's possible, like you said, you've been in games. Like, it is possible at any rate,
which I love about
for
this game.
A mistake to good dodge by Viscous. But it being possible doesn't make it probable. And so Utah State, they really need to try and find ways to stop the bleeding and start to bring this one back. But with the roaming potential of Moencrill, of the Paradox, of the Abrams, it's going to be difficult to control a lot of the map without being solo.
Yeah, it looks like they're about to collapse on that left side of the map, though. I think they're potentially looking for some pressure on that walker in first lane. Yeah, that's exactly what's about to happen here. I expect if Mo's needed, he'll join, but I don't think he's even going to be needed here. He'll just keep an eye on what's going on mid lane there. We'll see if Utah tries to push up that Guardian and just get one more objective. If they can get that objective, that's going to buy him a little bit more space despite this soul diff, but they're going to be losing probably a walker in the meantime.
looking up great talent, like the details on the guided owl, because I know that you gain spirit power. I'm trying to figure out just how much spirit power this great talent would be gaining, because we've seen multiple spirit owl kills.
No, he's
already. It's
I don't know the exact numbers, but yeah,
it's 5 per kill.
Yeah,
so that's
okay.
at least 15 that we've witnessed. Good singularity. What's it gonna do?
Not much.
Nothing.
I mean, you're hoping that you have maybe more teammates there, but you only have the Calico with you at that point. And that's really not enough against 3 players that are so much stronger than you. I mean, Calico, sure. I've seen Calico 1v3, but that's only when there's a relatively similar soul count.
Right. Or a lead.
Yeah, I've seen a really good Calico do it with like even souls, but
yeah.
Yeah, not when you're this far behind. I mean, you're trying to take on people that are 5-6K ahead of you at this point.
Yeah, and that was probably later in the game, I imagine, for Calico, similar to Yamato, though maybe not as much. It's hard to say. But Calico is someone that when you get like really tanky later on in the game, when you stack the heals from the leaping slashes and the nonsense that is Return to Shadows.
This is so rude.
I could easily see that happen. But they're contesting jungle camps 1 versus 2. Okay, 2 versus 2.
Yeah.
Make that 3 versus 2. Never mind. Advantage Iowa State.
Yeah.
And a guided owl. Where's this one gonna go?
I mean, advantage. I mean, they've got 3 players there. I mean, Utah does have support for that, but I mean, it's not really worth fighting over the rest of that camp right now. Try to play it safe. Yeah, see, otherwise this is going to happen. That was so funny. That was so toxic for the Mongrel, too. I mean, dodges the hook, pocket sands them, and then the rest of the team dives in. I mean, that was hard to watch if you're Utah.
I'm trying to figure out what angle of comeback Utah State would have. But we are looking at, quick maths here. Was 49K? 48K difference?
Yeah, I'm just going to round it up to 50K at this point, because it really doesn't make a difference between 40 and 50, because when you're that far behind 15 minutes in, you're going to feel the pressure regardless.
Yeah. Oh. This is... I mean, at this point, honestly, Iowa State is going to have to be the ones to make a mistake.
It is their game.
Utah's
yeah,
it's
back. Their game to lose. They would really have to.
And they're going to need to make like 3 of them.
Yeah, it'll be multiple. They have to go in, lose, like completely get team wiped to like twice for this Soul Diff to really catch up.
And next Earn is being run by Viscous. Because of the soul differential, Utah State is going to be on their side of the map, but is that really going to make much of a difference? Mo's going in, combos, power shot, and then 1 clean up left click, and then Zeb gets a 1v1 against Dynamo. I think this Earn's going to be free. Too.
Yeah, no, he's just trying to keep the pressure away from it. I mean, at this point, they're going to get that Earn steal as well, yeah. I mean, it's Calico and Bebop in there, and they're going to do whatever they can, but yeah, I don't think you live this on. It's just like, no, get the heck out of my house. I'm sorry, but it really is. I hate saying GG early, but I genuinely cannot see a comeback on this one.
Like Yamato being there in trying to stop the Earn. It's like, oh, you're just throwing your life away, but they got to do something. We don't want to let it be that free, so it's kind of a catch-22, I think, for Utah State University. Good opportunity potentially for Calico to try and find the Viscous. It's low, but Viscous is still alive.
Yeah.
Really good teamwork on the side of Iowa to keep their players up. Some heavy soul swings can happen when you get even just 1 kill on a team that's in such a lead. So really good heads up awareness of Iowa State to not allow Utah any advantage.
Yeah, especially if they've got a lot of souls on them. That comeback mechanic of killing someone with a lot of souls already, leading their team, that can bring you back into it. So it is good to go for that kill, but you saw it. I mean, the second that they had Calico break that Viscous off from the fight, they were communicating. Viscous was saying, behind you, Calico. And they all 3, instead of pushing objective, turned and helped out that Viscous to make sure they didn't lose a life, knowing the comeback mechanic, and now they've got mid, and that's really just going to be the nail in coffin for them.
Ooh! Wait a second. Bit of a grab.
No.
Wraith is out of there. The mobility of Wraith because of That teleportation
Teleport, yeah.
ability is just super sick. No, but we've played enough NA esports to know that what that Viscous was calming wasn't anything as detailed as, oh, Calico is behind everyone. It was more just on me.
Fair, yeah. I mean, or it's simply Calico behind. I mean, that's generally what we'll call it. But you're right. It's not like
at that HP, that low of HP, it is not a calm Calico behind. It is very much screaming into the mic on me.
Okay, that's fair. But yeah, no. As I said, nail in the coffin. They're going to be able to get first stage down, and they're just going to spawn trap at this point. I mean, there's no making it out of here. You get one person out, they're going to get trickled. Ooh. Hey, good steal there, Lasso from the Holiday to get the Wraith in there, but only half health on that Wraith. And this Wraith is just going to melt at this point. So Abrams can just hold the gate. You see them up in there, keeping them from even leaving their own camp. It is GG at this point. And Utah is going to feel the wrath of Iowa State University in game number 1.
I mean, they even tried to pair a Bebop grab into a Holiday Spirit Lasso to pull the Wraith into the fountain, but Project Mine got the Wraith out of it. They couldn't even get one little kill for their own ego, their own confidence going into game number 2. This was such a dominant victory by Iowa State.
I unbelievably dominant. And it looked like there was possibility at the beginning for Utah to be able to keep this as a closer series. We saw, maybe one or two early deaths in one of those outside lanes, but we saw a strong mid lane. We saw 2 ADCs, essentially 2 characters that are going to be able to hold their own if they can go just farm up, get those soul confirms and steals. And the second that they took a Guardian, they would have been free to start roaming. And once those 2 are roaming, you've got those picks. But they just couldn't, because the other lane started to lose so bad. You saw the Wraith and Mo start to be able to farm up, and at that point is where the steamroll started to happen. It wasn't just simply losing the lane, is that you were starting to lose every other soul equalizer that you could have from there on out.
Yeah, one of the bigger things is if you die once in lane, die twice in lane, that's fine.
Yeah.
But there became routine deaths after deaths after deaths in the lane. All the lanes. And we thought, for Utah State, their mid lane, Calico Yamato, that was the one that was like, okay, if they can lean into this. But Calico went 0-5-2. Yamato ended 2-10-0. So they got those 2 kills, and I think at least one of them, maybe both of them, were in that lane. But then they just weren't able to extend that anywhere else.
You really had to be shutting that Abrams down. I mean, Zeb was doing a wonderful job of picking off the right target and splitting away anyone that could end up keeping a fight going a little bit longer. I mean, 3 of their players didn't die at all in that matchup. We had the Viscous, the Abrams, and the Talon, no deaths at all. And that's problematic. I mean, when they're being able to walk away so clean-handed, you weren't going for those solo picks enough. And I'm wondering, coming into the next game, if that is going to be something that works its way into the draft. Are you going to be looking to try and get a couple early picks, even if it does mean giving up lane a little bit?
Yeah. I'm looking at the team comps again right now, and hindsight is 2020, so it's very possible that this perspective is skewed by the game that we just watched. But with the amount of control that the Abrams and the Viscous were able to provide, even outside of their ultimates, and then when you throw the Moon Pro ultimate into that, that's a very aggressive front line that can divide the enemy team. The Utah State didn't have that many opportunities just in terms of the kits themselves, and sure, the lead that Iowa State had helped that happen. But I think Utah State, maybe I would like them to try and make some adjustments onto their team comp going into the next game.
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing right now is you get rid of, in my opinion, you get rid of the Talon and Abrams. Maybe not the Talon, you get rid of the Abrams maybe, because it really felt like Zeb knew what he needed to do when it came to the team fights. As I said, he was pulling off the right people. He was making sure to get them peeled away from those fights, and it was just became so much less coordination from Utah State because they just could not operate in a manner where someone wasn't CC'd at that point. So yeah, you need to make sure that combo doesn't line up. As you said, such a strong front line in that Viscas and Abrams that you pretty much actually played right. You just lose that lane. Because that is so much staying power between the two of them.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, this is the best of 3. We're down 1 map.
That's true.
Can Utah State come back in game number 2? We'll have
Good
to
question.
see. We're going to go to a quick break before we find that one out. Don't go anywhere. We will be back with game number 2 in just a few minutes.
Everybody goes to town when the music goes around. Everybody goes to town.
Welcome back to College Deadlock. We're here on the ASMR podcast with Cameron Davis and myself, Leaf. How you doing, Cameron Davis?
I'm not going on this ride with you.
Oh, that's
No,
tomorrow's
I don't
show.
have the-
Sorry, I forgot. Wrong show. Sorry, guys. But press 1 in chat if you want to see that later. That's a late night episode. Anyways, we have map 1 down. We've got USU and Iowa State facing off Utah in Iowa. And it didn't go too well, Cameron, for one of these teams in the first map.
It went great for the other.
Yep.
What was that? What was that soul differential? Iowa State won with 148K versus
148
Beef.
to 74.
Beef.
Yeah.
It is literally twice the souls.
They double
This
the
is not some sort of like heavy rounding up. This is literally twice the souls at the very end.
That is insane. 19 minutes and 3 seconds is what the match went. That was as fast as the early days of Deadlock for me. There were some matches that were ending that fast, but that's not how it goes anymore. Matches tend to be at least 25 minutes plus. I mean, if you got a good one, you can hit over 50. But it is rare to see matches end that quickly and with that big of a soul difference. Coming into this next matchup here, Utah really has to makes a big difference when it comes to their draft. I mean, remind me again, like what we talked about here, about what kind of went wrong in that early bit of the match that led to this because of Iowa's picks, and what Utah might be looking to counter coming into this next one.
I mean, so there were some notes that I had at the end of, well, with that lead that Iowa had, they could the Viscus and the Moan Krill and the Abrams could just run around and do whatever they want. And in contrast to the only tools that Utah really had were Bebop's grab and then Dynamo's ultimate and Holiday's ultimate. But like, that's all kind of secondary stuff. And I think there is more than enough room to go back and forth on how that is in terms of the composition matchup.
Right.
I think more importantly, it's just Iowa State won all of their lanes and they instantly extended those advantages to winning every single other engagement. They were stealing. What you pointed it out. They were stealing their opponent's jungle camps like 7 minutes in.
Wraith and Mo were in there so fast to just make sure that the lead that they did get didn't turn around, because again, Deadlock has a lot of comeback mechanics in it, which I love for it. There's really always, well, not always, we saw the not always situation. There's usually a chance for a comeback up to a certain point. And even when you're down 10, 15K souls, in 15 minutes, I've seen those comebacks. Now, my question here is, are we going to see any bans specifically on the heroes that we saw for Iowa before?
Yeah, Utah instantly banned the Paradox. They don't allow Iowa to take that. That does open up the 7, but Utah have first pick, and they're going to lock that one in. Okay, so this is a really good response. Paradox takes out one of the huge factors of Iowa's previous match, and they get 7 for themselves, the most powerful hero in the game at the moment. One
thing I really want to see from Utah as well, besides this great start to it, is how they finish this out. I'm not going to lie. Didn't really, when you saw how behind you guys are in terms of, I guess, just the overall game, you're having an uphill battle coming in at map number 2 here. I want to see that Yamato gone. I don't want any heroes here that are going to rely on a late game pop off, because that's likely not going to happen. You need to make sure that you're staying toe in toe, step in step with your opponents in the early game. And you can't be doing that when, again, you've got late game ADCs, as you would say, of Yamato, and no one's going to pick Hayes, but heroes like Hayes.
Yeah. Definitely don't lean to winning in the late game. You need to be contestable in the mid game at the very least, right?
I like the Kelvin. And Lash too. We hadn't seen the Lash in the last one, and we're going to see some of that mobility here, which obviously these two aren't. I guess they kind of sync. I mean, if you want to ult into Kevin, I just pulled a McGinnis into Kelvin, then you can. So there's already synergy there, but I'm sure they're going to be looking for other synergies with Lash.
Yeah. We'll see how Iowa State lean into their the real damage on their side. There it is. Vindicta is a really good one. So a lot of adjustments being made. The game that we had on stream yesterday, there were some adjustments, but like there were a lot of different heroes this time around. So to me, that speaks to Utah being able to make some. Wait, why are Iowa banning out Great Talon? That was their pick. I guess they don't want to let Utah.
They don't want to give it to the other side. Yeah, I mean, what you're trying to do right now is just make sure. I mean, I can kind of see it. I mean, if you get that Ivy hooked up with that Talon, you got some real good kind of poke damage that's going to be a lot harder to reach. I mean, obviously the Lash can get in there, but it might be something they just want to avoid. So I can kind of see that. And Dynamo as a ban does feel a little bit out there. I mean, we talked about Dynamo before, how he's kind of dropped a little bit in functionality and utility given the new map here. So getting rid of him, maybe they were just trying to avoid that Lash Dynamo combo. I think that's maybe strictly what they're just trying to not hit here.
I want to ask production. I'm only gonna, not because I don't trust you guys, but just because these picks really making me think like, is this Utah State that are banning Dynamo and Iowa State that are banning the Great Talon?
Because it feels
these are what you would ban of your opponent.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got confirmation. The graphic is accurate, so why they're banning their own picks, I don't know.
I can just, again, really, I think Utah is straight up just trying to avoid Lash Dynamo. That's a team wipe at that point, especially with the damage we see on the other side. I mean, you got Vindicta and Geist. That's a lot of damage output. If you can just roll into a Lash Dynamo, you're pretty much team wiped at that point. And given what we saw, if they end up playing the way they played before, Iowa is going to land a lot of those combos. And we do see a Mirage and Bebop again for Utah.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel
pulling
about
out
this.
those comfort picks.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. You just said I feel like we're rocking into comfort territory. I mean, we have a lot of there's just not a lot of chance for, I guess, rundown at this point. I mean, this is looking like a very team heavy comp. So Utah is definitely going to have to be playing as a team. They're not looking for a lot of those solo drives, maybe the 7, but yeah, they don't have that same power that Iowa does in terms of those solo rundowns.
Okay, and the Viscous as well. So that's a really good take by Utah. Viscous are they one of the more, like, one of the strongest? Not Viscous. Are they one of the hardest heroes to play?
Viscous is relatively hard. I mean, yeah.
So
I would say Kelvin's up there too, but
sure. But like, if the Viscous is in the right hands, can be so disruptive towards the enemy team. And when you're going up against a Lash and a Wraith, if you have well placed puddle punches on the side of Utah State University, then that could try and shut some things down. Also, depending on the geometry, that's a free knockdown on the Vindicta without having to buy the item.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean, what I'm looking out of Utah right now is they're looking to try and just do some lane rundowns. I mean, like they have to do it together. I mean, at this point, you get the Bebop, grab a pick. You've got that Mirage that can hop around and join into fights. Like, they're focusing so heavy, in my opinion, on those team fights. Holiday's got a little CC that you can make sure that 7 can keep getting some damage in there. Same with Viscous. You can keep some of those enemies close that 7 can just AoE. It really feels like that's their goal right now, is to lean heavily into the 7, dealing a lot of damage. But again, you have to make sure you can get that 7 to a point where he is dealing damage.
Yeah.
So you want him in a lane that he's going to be able to step away from a little bit more often, which for some reason, I would imagine you'd want him maybe in mid lane. You've got a chance for those camps to jump out and in a little bit faster, but we'll see where he ends up.
I wasn't able to see who is the one piloting the 7, but I'm looking at the team comps, and I am worried. Even though I do think the drafts overall are once again quite equal, I do think that Utah, their composition might be relying a bit too much on 7 as their primary source of damage output. Maybe I'm just not prioritizing the damage that heroes like Holiday and Bebop can do, but when you compare it to the Vindicta and the Geist and the Wraith And I mean, God, if it's a Fed Warden as well on the opposite side, like if this gets into the late game, I do think that Iowa State have a bit more scaling power in their team.
Well, yeah, what I see right now, and obviously I'm doing this with the pretext that Iowa won the last one relatively handily. I also do think this draft is a little bit in their favor, and they've got so much staying power with the Kelvin. The Vindicta can deal a lot of damage from that back line, and you have just that rundown of Warden and Wraith. Geist also dealing a lot of damage from that back line, and then Lash can just come out of nowhere. You have that surprise factor, whereas, again, I really think that USU has to be making these pushes together with at least 3 of them.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have my eyes on the left lane because that's where the Lash is. And I just hear so much talk about Lash diving in from the top rope or the top geometry. But, oh, here comes the Warden. That is an open opportunity. Catching them completely off guard. Early kill. Drop low. Is there going to be a trade?
No, he's going to make it out of there. Yeah, that's... Oh, close. Oh. Man, I still call them pretzels. I always sounded like she was saying pretzels when she threw them. The Katsu. Almost taking her down to 11 health. But, yeah, that is something surprising. I mean, if you don't see that Warden in lane, I mean, why are you not questioning where he is at the point? It feels like they got blindsided so hard on that.
Yeah, they really did. It's one of those things that it doesn't come into play all that much, those veil walls, but you cannot forget about them. So we'll see if there's any sort of, not response directly, but are they going to make any adjustments? Are they going to be able to
now,
not let that lane snowball from there?
Well,
because that's kind of what happened game 1.
Here's a big problem, though, is that already the 7, who you're trying to really build around right now, is falling well behind in souls. Like, he's definitely going to have to go and even get that small camp just to get himself back into it. He's going to want some steals right now. Sure, they're pushing up the lane, but I wouldn't be afraid. I mean, on the other side, you've got a Lash that can dive in, deal a lot of damage, and back off. Geist can deal damage from far. I mean, it doesn't feel like they're necessarily winning that lane right now until 7 can get himself back in the game.
Yeah, 7 at 1K.
Could be a whole
That's
line
actually
behind.
very, very shocking. And the Mirage isn't faring any better at all themselves. A little bit of CC coming in, but good answer back. And again, the Cube saved Ivy there, and a bit of an overstay by the Kelvin to allow Utah State to just answer back. So we're tied back 1-1. I mean, the Souls are still favored for Iowa State, but I mean, Utah aren't going down without a fight.
I am very confused at the decision making from that Kelvin right there. I mean, you're just lasering down a cube and then standing at the gates while your teammate's not with you. It felt like he just wanted to go free. Yeah, maybe a little bit, a little bit of we won the last one so much they can't touch me now kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only reasoning I have. Other than that, like maybe their cat jumped on their desk and distracted them, or if you know anyone that has a pet, you hear some hacking in the other room and your attention instantly is like, oh no, the carpet.
Now you know what I kind of want to see right now. Once camps get up, I mean, it's also hard to ask for this, but to get that 7, if they do start falling a little bit further behind here, you maybe want to see that Holiday dip over there and just deal some damage from the outside, just to help that lane push a bit more, or have that 7 jump over to another lane and swap it out, because that 7 is definitely going to need to be powering up a little bit faster than he is.
They got to stall the game out, Utah State, and it's so weird to say that less than 5 minutes in, but with what are we looking at now? Almost 1.5K difference?
Yeah. And that's leading into most of the team's 4K deficit right now, too. I mean, the other lanes aren't the worst. I mean, you're seeing them keep relatively close, but it was very specifically the Mirage and the 7.
And the 7 is staying. The temptation to not give up any other souls by going back to base, but when you're staying with that level of HP, that can't feel comfortable. A nice little stake to keep Holiday here, but where's this fight going? Where'd that Vindicta go? Someone got lost in the mix-up there.
Oh,
With Vindicta
Bebop
out in the
found her.
open.
Got the bombs on, and is that going to kill her? Not quite. She's got the shield that mitigates a lot of that damage. But Wraith comes in, sliding and dealing some damage. And Vindicta's back at it too. Holiday is caught completely out of position. She might be done for right now. I don't think she's going to be able to get away if that Wraith can just land some shots.
Yeah, trying to go for that 1v1. I mean, this is around Iowa State's Guardian, so the Holiday should be able to get out of there. Are they baiting around to try and go for another grab? Vindicta is low, so perhaps they were trying to look for something. They pressed an opportunity, wasn't. But hey, the Holiday got out. Even if they weren't able to get a kill of their own, even if they weren't able to get a trade, Bebop is back. Holiday is out.
Honestly,
so they didn't give anything extra up.
Really smart move from the Holiday to be able to squeeze back into there to drop down to mid, because with that Vindicta trying to hold and watch the lane still in case you try to escape that way, you open up a little bit of space to get out of there. So good play.
I see the enemy.
Things have slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, not too far behind either. I mean, 3K is really not much of a problem.
Right.
You know, 7's still hurting a little bit, but he's got to start going for those camps as soon as possible.
Yeah. And Mirage, you know, traditionally a solo laner back when we had such a thing. Back in my day, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so long ago. I mean, in video games, it might as well be. But, Wraith is going for more telekinesis, drops Bebop, or picks Bebop up in the air. Vindicta also trying to dive. A lot of damage with the Vindicta might have overextended a bit. 1 versus 1 with a Holiday. Everyone's trying to reload. Wraith is grouping on up.
Oh, this is chaos out here. Please at least get the Vindicta. But unfortunately, everyone afraid to go for those melees at well, because everyone's just so good at parrying now. You didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it took. When you were in that tight juke spot there, you might have been able to go for that just to get the Vindicta. At least feel good about a trade. But instead, Holiday losing her life too. And 7, you know, I think he started to dip out there. But you also know that the second 7 leaves his lane, that Lash and Geist are just going to push hard for that Guardian.
Yeah.
So it is real hard and scary to try and leave to farm.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, like, Mirage is used to being by themselves in a lane, but you know, staring down a Lash and a Geist, that can't be that healthy. And one thing to look at for the left lane is that the Guardian is still pretty healthy. So they're doing something right in that respect. Hyperbeam comes out. Wraith is just tanking it. A bit too much, a bit too much, a bit too much.
A lot too much, unfortunately. A little bit hungry for the kill on that one. And I'm not super excited about the decision to stay there, but I am excited that Holiday managed to get one. Used for... Whoa, okay. There was some... Is that BM? You just hit the first ult snipe you've ever seen. Okay. I was thinking Frisky in the chat, too.
So Iowa State, you had some fun. Utah have proven that they cannot just be bullied around based purely off of how strong of a win the first game was. Like, you do have to give them some respect. They do have hands, they have fingers, they have their mouse and keyboard are connected to their computers. But hey, they still have a sole lead though. And Geist is looking to jump on an never mind. Oh, they're low.
Yeah.
And there it is. Soul exchange. And now the Mirage is regretting walking around that corner.
Yeah, that's real trouble there from the Mirage. Got away, though. Unfortunately, 7's left to try to clean up the rest of the damage here. And again, with Soul Exchange out there, it's actually potentially going to be a kill for 7. I was talking about the parries there a moment ago. You see a little action.
Wait a minute. Okay, now we have a game. This is multiple kills. Like 4 kills I think we just saw in the lane. 1 out by Utah State. Iowa State needs to slow things down. I think they're playing way too egotistical in some of these fights.
I like this too. I mean, it's just overall, they got away from that heavy end game damage, right? Like they took a comp that didn't want to deal with playing for the late game, playing for a strong end. They said, let's just be solid the whole way through. And you're right, it's working. I mean, the heads up plays too from this Ivy, keeping them in the fight, you know, being able to get away with her ult too. Unfortunately, can't really get away from that dome, and
yeah,
she's done.
Yeah, really good frozen shelter. I think Ivy was like a couple of frames out of escaping from that. The Mirage is, well, About as lucky, though. No, where'd they get out? Get behind the wall. 7 is there. No. Yeah, 7 is there to defend. That Mirage needs to go home, though. But listen, they're not rolling over. Utah State, they still got to figure out the farm situation.
Yeah, well, I mean, Bebop's starting to get out there for it, too. We might have he's going for the center sacrifices, it looks like. Utah did lose out on the bridge buffs. And they're potentially going to lose out on a soul urn now because they're still pretty heavily stacked on the other side. I mean, obviously they could get the TP, but are they going to go for the Guardian instead, knowing the Lash is gone?
That Bebop going down is unfortunate. Geist, it's good for one-to-one trade across the whole map, but when it comes to this urn specifically, Bebop going down is not good, but Ivy is there. Kelvin tried to post up, but the Lash is caught out.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's going on to that left lane. The 7 and Mirage decide not to go for Guardian or go and help out that Soul Urn. And as a result, Utah is potentially going to lose it. Ivy's locking down the fight for a little bit, but you're not going to get away from an ulting Warden. And so far they're locking it in. Yeah, you're right. 7 did TP over finally.
Yeah, and the Mirage as well, so that pushes the Warden away. Urn picked up, Soul Urn returned. Utah State, again, they're still just barely trailing Iowa State, but they've got answers. This is a completely different game from what we saw just a couple of minutes, like 20 minutes ago.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, they're completely different. It's because of that staying power. I mean, I still see a lot of great plays coming out from Iowa State. 7's going to push them away from their Guardian and hold on a little bit longer. They are finding it troublesome to poke at Utah's Guardians right now. Of course, mid goes down, but I mean, barely any damage on this first lane.
Yeah. All because of the cube. We had a Lash Deathsland come in, try and isolate the 7, but response by a Viscous Cube. 7 ultimate comes in, and that just nullifies that whole fight.
I just want to give a little tip there. I'm fairly certain we just saw the Warden miss out on those 3 extra golden idols from the center sacrifice. Wait till the 3rd last light is active and then heavy melee, and you'll hit it every time.
Yeah. Those buffs, I've actually heard a lot of conversation about how almost overpowered those buffs. Oh, Viscous hold very low.
I can imagine seeing them getting a nerf in the future because, they are very strong. But you're right. The Geist almost getting in there.
So many of them.
Viscous is still back there taking some damage, and that's why Geist is so scary. I mean, so much damage from so far away. Thankfully, they keep her pushed off, but yeah, she's a threat from everywhere.
Oh, there's a fight happening elsewhere on the right lane. Another 2 versus 2. Ivy's dropped low. Warden swing around from the side. Should be able to take Ivy down, or rather, I thought it was a 2 versus 2. It tends to be a 2 versus 1 because Mirage was out of there, saw the writing on the wall, was just going to retreat, but a mid lane push coming in from Utah State. They should be able to take that Guardian down. Vindicta is currently distracted by the Mirage just to the right of this.
No, this is what I like. I told you at the beginning, they need to start as soon as they can trying to play at least 3 in every given one of these fights. And now that they've gotten, they had their first Guardian down, they've got a second one down, now they're starting to focus on working together a little bit more. They're going to work so well as a team comp. If they start that early, they're going to keep Iowa on the back foot.
Lungboy, I want to give credit to Lungboy. We saw them struggle in the early lane, and they are still ready to take these fights. And with a couple of items under their belt, they are actually able to answer a lot of the damage really, really well. So they are not being intimidated by Iowa State. They are just taking this best of 3, one game at a time. But here comes the dive in, and whoa, 100-0 so fast. Never mind. Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Maybe Lungboy should be a little more conservative with their positioning.
What a great stake, though. I mean, he would have gotten out there if it wasn't for that stake. That just nailed him down, and it was GG at that point. I mean, the Vindicta even had the assassinate right after there if you did roll away. So I think that 7 was lost no matter what, and they'll trade back another Guardian. Things relatively even. Look at this lane getting pushed up here, though. It's just the Ivy trying to solo it. Good idea. Get the heck out of there. You've got a whole team essentially on you.
Yeah. You had a couple of teleports come your way. But I'm looking at the soul difference. There is a bit of a lead that we're finally starting to see extended by Iowa State.
Yeah, that's the macro. I mean, that's them getting out there. Look at the Geist right now. Look at the Warden. They've been doing this the whole time. Mostly the Warden. He's been out there making sure that he's stealing as much farm as possible, and you see it in the soul count too. And he's second on his team, next only to Wraith.
Yeah. That Wraith has been farming. I don't think I've seen Wraith in a fight in a long time.
Yeah.
I think this really has been a lot due to Wraith just farming in the camps, and they haven't lost anything because of Vindicta going for the Biscuits, followed up by the Lady Guys. Cube is going to give some sense of safety, but there's only so long you can survive here. So here it is. The game of inches is finally giving Iowa State some real, like, identifiable lead.
They might be able to win out. I don't know right now. That Mirage is probably going to get caught out too. But they, Holiday leaving too, they've got an urn right beside them. They need to be able to get into this fight and support each other. And they're so split right now that Holiday is going to have a lot of trouble dealing damage by herself. 7 is up above trying to take it out. And they'll steal a couple of the souls back. But yeah, they weren't going to get the urn themselves. And now a chase down. Geist is only about half health. So I don't think 7's going to be able to do everything here. Maybe an ult, but they're going to have a lot of escape routes that I don't think anyone should technically die at this point. Kelvin came close, but he's got the heals. Holiday with
Iowa State are just running circles around Utah at the moment, and that ultimate from 7 might have been just a panic one, just a desperation ultimate. But hey, a good answer by Sub-Q and the rest of Utah to take the Vindicta down. Lady Geist also eliminated. They lose a Walker in the meantime, though, so was it really all that valuable to get some trades after losing the urn?
Yeah, well, and that's why Holiday is so good too. I mean, she's got that damage, she's long range damage, she's got that CC, and she's also got that verticality. The fact that she can get up to you so quickly when you're Vindicta without needing knockdown or phantom strike is such a great kit to have, as long as it's being utilized right, and which is why Holiday is so good in this meta still. Now the whole team backing off. They got to watch out for that Walker at mid. I'm curious where Utah's plan of attack is going to be next. I mean, are they waiting to react? I mean, this Ivy keeps getting caught in very terrible situations, so she's got to watch out for this.
We came into this fight, saw the Ivy just take an engagement with a Wraith, and I'm thinking, okay, where's the follow-up? I look at the minimap, and
no one's there. Yeah, they were all on the other side.
Hey, look, Ivy has their ultimate to get out, but you got to use an airdrop to get out of a fight that you probably weren't ever going to win anyway. And look at the backpack of Wraith. Look how rich they are. Spend that money. They're going to be a terror when they show up to these team fights. Because again, I think like Iowa State have been winning them. It hasn't been literally 5 versus 6. But like, Nightmare has just, I think, just been farming the whole time.
Well,
and now they're going to come into these fights and just going to be like, one left click, you're dead.
I'm wondering if this is the Nightmare and Zeb that I know, because both games they've been leading their team in terms of soul count. I mean, they should be. Their characters, you want those heroes by the end being strong because they can just solo. But yeah, it's definitely the people I knew, and I'm not surprised to see them doing well. Great rescue beam there from the Kelvin to get that lash out.
Yeah, really good job. Really good use of support utility.
Yeah, but they're pushing hard on this. They want this Walker. And that's the thing about this Walker is, look, you got this ledge up here that you can just hang out on and still take damage from, too, which is very surprising to me. You don't have to be committal to that corridor by hanging out up there.
I heard a beam-up hook. Must have, oh, wait. I just saw the minimap. Kelvin moved very, very fast. Might have just got hooked himself. Taking a lot of damage. Forced to use the frozen shelter. And now the Lash is answering back with the Death Slam, bringing the Holiday back into Death's door. Picked up by the Vindicta. And now they're going to go back into the fight. Walker be damned.
Death Slam called that for a reason. Very strong. You see 3 of them pushing up that blue lane without minions right now, trying to split push over on that Walker. They want to get a trade on Walkers. They feel like they're about to lose this one, and they want that answer, but they did not handle those lanes very well. And now they're probably going to lose this Walker without having anything to answer for it.
Bebop is low. They're trying to deny as many of those souls as possible, but I mean, at this point...
Yeah, like I said, that macro, not the best.
Yeah. 7 comes in. big ultimate, but not a lot of damage. And there is a limited range. It's not purely line of sight for the Storm Cloud.
Yeah.
Again, I think that was quite a desperation play, but a lot of kills in the kill feed.
Hey, I mean, if you can get those follow-ups, get those chase downs, now they might actually have a chance. They lost the Walker. This is their chance to get that answer back. If you can get one more kill on this Vindicta, you've got that Walker right beside you, but got to watch out for that Warden too. If he comes in, he doesn't have ult, so he's going to be a little bit easier to deal with. Nice. Lasso there.
Spirit Lasso
Bring.
pulls the Warden back.
They got to finish him off, though. They can't waste that opportunity. Massive soul earn as well. You're going to see that Mirage push up that left lane. They got a little work to do on the right lane, but they probably... they're back now. I don't know if they're going to get this Walker either, but at least soul earn.
Yeah, at least soul earn. And you know what the upside of having a lane to work on is? That's a lot of souls to farm in the lane.
Yeah.
So depending on how much this soul earn gives, and I'm not up to date on the scaling of the soul earn, that still brings them quite close. They have yet to take the lead when it comes to souls, but they are staying within striking distance this entire game.
No, this is far from a deficit. Like, literally it is a deficit, but I wouldn't call it this is an even game right now. The biggest thing you're looking at is objectives. That's the one thing that they're starting to fall behind on, and they're going to hurt without that extra flex spot. I mean, that flex spot alone can make a difference in these team fights.
Ivy's going for another 1v1. Lady Geist is a difficult 1v1 to win if they have their ultimate. I think that was a Lash just jumping up and down off in the distance. Saying
As
hello.
Lashes do.
Yeah.
I love the verticality of the map now. It really makes you feel like you're in the city now at this point. Big fight, right? They might be able to shut her down, but she gets out of there and healed up as well. And unfortunately for Utah, they thought they'd be able to get a pick out. And it feels like Ivy might be going down to you. That's not one you want to go down. A little bit of heals going to be missing from this fight. Bebop from the side lane is going to go for the Hyper Beam, but it's not going to connect with anyone. The rest of Iowa State gets out of there. Another ult here from Seven this time, but the health on that Wraith is gnarly as she tries to melt that Seven down.
Oh, here goes Mirage answering back down to half HP, and no Kelvin immediately there to keep the Wraith alive, as we saw from the very beginning of this fight. But they're all still pushing on this Walker. They are following up. The cooldowns are back off of cooldown. They get another kill on a Bebop, and now
Vindicta.
this Walker is about to go down.
On the other side as well, pushing up. Yeah, this is where that macro's starting to come out here for Iowa. They know that Wraith can probably handle in with only 3 other teammates. Vindicta is just off on her own, making sure that Utah feels the pressure from both sides, and eventually 3 as that middle gets pushed up too.
Yeah, the Iowa State are playing this game of footsie very, very well. Utah have been in the conversation. Like, they've been pretty matched up for a lot of this game in terms of souls, but they have never had control over the map, over the fights, over anything here. They're forced to respond to what Iowa State are giving them. And, I mean, at some point, you can only respond so much. And with that Walker going down, with those base Guardians getting damaged, they're going for mid-boss. Is there going to be a contest? Seven is looking to be running for it, but I don't think the timing is going to allow much of a response here. They're going to have to give that Rejuvenator up.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to get down there in time. I mean, are they really trying to do it? No, they looked and they got close, but it's the best you can do is go for some picks on the exits here, but even that they're going to back off on, because right now it's going to be turtle time, which I think they could handle a little bit better than they've handled some of the wider spread areas of the map. That's where I think they've been losing, is just a couple missteps on that macro. They just lost sight of one objective here or there, or they're one step behind. But now that they're going to be pushed in a little bit tighter as these lanes get pushed up from these stronger minions, maybe they'll be able to work as a team a little bit better, and they'll get one quick pick there and buy themselves a little bit of time. One rejuve is down.
I don't know if using a Hyper Beam was the right choice there. I understand they want to make sure that they don't give any of these up, and it would have been probably more disappointing to save the Hyper Beam and Vindicta gets away, but I don't know how that would have even happened. I'm just worried about the use of high quality cooldowns.
I wonder if they're maybe thinking, I mean, because he's got 80 seconds on it, right? By the time that fight gets to their base, if it does, it'll be ready again. I think he's just trying to buy a little bit of pressure alleviation. That if they did all push up in a single lane, they could get out of there. Seven, not going to find a pick. This Wraith has so much health, but there's barreling down on them too. And the Seven ult just so there's no escape. And that's going to be another pick. I'm not going to lie. I like the way they're handling it. I don't mind the use of these ults if it does mean they keep pressure off their base.
Yeah, and there's Iowa State, they were not set up to respond to that. A lot of them were sort of just clearing out sort of not a lot in the mid lane. I mean, a lot of attention being pulled towards the Ivy. I think Ivy realizes that she is about to go down. Holiday is there, probably to be another target. So perhaps this is an unforced error, I think, coming out of Utah State. They could have easily responded just by slowing things down after that kill, but they probably have maybe trying to go for too much.
Buying a lot of time for, again, their base. They might want to start turtling now. They are going to have 5 of them surrounding the Iowa. Might be able to pick off this Viscus. I think Viscus is in a bit of trouble as he gets tunnel visioned on that Kelvin, who was low. And as the goo ball tries to get out of there, I feel like they're going to feel the heat. No, they just get away in time. Nope, never mind. I forgot there wasn't a walker there.
Yeah, that's 3 down for Utah State. Iowa looking to now break into the base.
Yeah.
Can Utah even, like, how do you play this with 2 people on 30-second cooldowns? Wait a second! Seven's able to get 1 kill close range against the guys, gets out of the trap for the ward, and does still eventually go down anyway.
Yeah, the reality here is that you needed to pull back on that lane before. You give up that Viscus and you pull back. You knew that there were 5 of them tunneling down that mid lane. You had to get out of there. That's a
Look,
melt.
the damage from this raid. Nightmare was farming the jungle for the first 20 minutes of the game, and now they're here to party, and it just feels like, especially with the support and the healing coming out from the Kelvin, there's really not much that Utah State can do. That they're staggering these respawns so effectively that Utah State are never going to be able to answer with a straight-up 6v6, but at the same time, like, they can't just wait for the respawns to go in and fight. They're losing the base.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you need to be doing once you had that rejuve. While it's gone now, they finally have the lane pressure that they needed, and it just came down to a couple of those early picks. The Lash does get an ult off, but gets killed for it. Good hold here for Iowa, but again, they're not in the best spot to the point that I feel one more misstep as they push Iowa out of here. Utah will probably end up conceding this map, given the fact that they're starting to fall behind in souls.
They are riding a very, very difficult line here. And Geist goes down. I think they had their ultimate ready, but just the stuns kept them from being able to pull that one off. And so I think Utah are able to really shut Iowa State's push down. And it hasn't been free. They've lost the vast majority of their base and a lot of deaths in the meantime. So they need to work hard now on pushing those lanes all the way back out. It looks like they might be hyper-focused on just this singular walker at mid. And listen, it might not sound like a lot, but it's something.
No, I think you absolutely go for that. Get a couple of steals, as you see right now, 7 doing. Steal some of that farm. They're not going to go for the objective, actually. They're just going to go for some of that farm. I feel like they could have got in there. The Lash doesn't have ult. Even if he does dive in on you guys, you're pretty safe at that point. So just pushing lane for some farm feels a little bit odd.
I think they were worried about the respawns now coming in and them being able to take the zip lines. Like if there was any stall in time, things could have gotten hairy fast. So I understand and actually kind of agree with them being conservative with their approach now. They're just trying to reset things, try and get back up there in souls, which they have. They're still only 5k away, but 7 being called out is not a good look.
Yeah, this is problematic. You're not going to win that fight. Multiple people in that close area. Sure, you got AoE, but they got AO 3 people on you, and you're not walking away. They got Solar in 2. Just try to make a statement. I mean, not even particularly a statement, but we want to make sure that we extend this lead a little bit because it is still a little too close for their comfort. I think right now, Iowa might even just be trying to force a fight out of Utah so that they can just make that final push. Worst case, no fight gets forced and they just get a free earn.
Get a kill on 7, get an earn. I'll take that one. Ivy caught out again. This Ivy has been caught out so many times. I understand they're trying to sort of manage some map pressure to alleviate what Iowa State can do elsewhere around the map, but they've been caught out so many times, and for it not, because Iowa State are still winning the fights that they're taking on the other end.
Yeah, that's a little bit rough. And those are the picks they were looking for. Maybe they were hoping for it to be at that Solern fight, but Iowa State was looking for this exact scenario. They wanted to get a couple picks that allowed them to make that final push into base. They're not even going to rush those other lanes. They just get into base with one lane pushed up and go straight for that patron and melt it.
Yeah. Why bother? Why waste time doing anything else? Just shut this one down. GG. Iowa State University win game 2, win the series 2-0. Not that Utah didn't put up a fight, but Iowa State, they just looked unbeatable.
Yeah, it was a closer game. I mean, we got to give it to Utah. They did a good job of making sure that their draft was focused on just being all around alive. They had that chance to work together a little bit more of a team-minded situation, and a little bit of bigger health pools as well. They weren't looking to have that late game steamroll in some of those traditional ADCs that they have before.
Yeah.
So I liked the draft they went for. At the end of the day, you still had less mistakes being made on that macro scale from Iowa. They managed to have that one single split pusher that was looking at an objective that Utah forgot about once another one on the other side of the map was feeling pressure.
Yeah, and I mean, credit where credit is due. Lungboy was trying to do a lot of work once we left the laning phase. I do think that a couple of those ults were could have been better positioned, better timed. At the same time, though, like the fights so often went the way of Iowa State from the beginning. You kind of got to pull it and hope for the best. You can't wait for the perfect opportunity, or else you're never going to use it. Really, I think it just goes back to the laning phase.
Yeah.
With that 7, that team comp from Utah State is putting a lot of the pressure of being able to deal the damage onto that 7, onto Lungboy. And they got up there in the mid game, but that early game was so rough. I'm really interested to know what this game would have been like if Lungboy and the Mirage, to be paired with them on the left lane, weren't down so much within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, because it prevented them from even having that opportunity to go out and farm when they needed to. I mean, the second you can get that 7 split off, you want to get that 7 split off. It's what the Mirage, the Wraith was able to do, and which is why Nightmare was able to steamroll so heavily by the end of that. That's what you want a 7 doing. When you get the strongest pick, you need to make sure you're supporting that 7 in getting ahead in souls as early as possible. So Cameron, I think for me, I liked the draft, and I think overall it was cool to see how the comps on both teams developed after that first map. Yeah, and both teams were very, very comfortable flexing into different roles. We saw them swap heroes and bans and all over the place. So hero depth looked, from the outside, looked pretty comfortable, which is a really, really good tool to have. You want to be able to be good with all those heroes, but being able to pick multiple options, I think, allows for responses that we saw from Utah State. And even though they lost game 2 compared to game 1, really good responses, even if we're just looking on paper. That's very true. Hey, they did their best. Unfortunately, Utah could not take down Iowa State. It was a close second one, so they got to walk away with that, and their chin held high on that. And just go back to the tape and see what went wrong across both the games, the drafts, and maybe the small pieces here and there. But Iowa State walks away with another win, and you guys also walked away with a win by watching some college Deadlock. We appreciate you guys joining us for this. Everyone's doing this on their spare time. If you'd like to support, of course, you can go and follow us on all of our socials at College Deadlock. Make sure you like and subscribe on all the different platforms. If you're watching this right now and you haven't hit the follow button, shame on you. Do that right now. Make sure the notification bell is on. And if, again, you would like to support a little bit more than that, you can get some cool little emotes with Geary if you subscribe to the channel. So if you want to do that, any primers in chat? Any primers? I can hear a few out there. But again, if not, I know it's a hard economy right now, so we just appreciate you being here and enjoying Deadlock with us. Cameron, thanks for joining me tonight. It was a blast.
Yeah, had a lot of fun.
Heck yeah. Deadlock is fun to see how it develops and continues on. We enjoy you guys joining us here. Shout out to production for putting this on as well. Shout out to the teams for playing, and shout out to everyone playing Deadlock. Thank you guys for joining us. We're going to sign off now, and we'll hopefully see you soon.
Bye-bye.
hey, 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 hi-de, hi-de, hi, hi-de, hi-de, hi, ho-de, ho-de, ho, ho-de, ho-de, ho, hey, hey.